Okay. Okay, we're on. Okay, welcome everybody to the regular town board meeting of July 27, 2021. And town clerk on a roll call. Looking very summery over there, if I do say so myself. You look very summery.
Yes. Councilman Dennis Troy. Councilman Tom Divany.
Here.
Councilman Paul Valentine.
Here.
Councilman Jerry Vitari.
Here.
Supervisor Teresa Kennedy.
Here. And I'm going to have a pledge of allegiance. Mr. Valentine, can I pose on you one more time?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, so we have a couple of announcements. One is we just want to alert everybody who's watching at home or anything about the car thefts that are occurring in Orangetown. It's happening regularly. People are leaving either their car doors open or they're leaving their key fobs in. And last week we had 2 cars stolen on the same night. It's happening on a regular basis, and I know people feel like we're living in a safe bubble here somewhere, but just want to remind everybody to lock your car every time you leave it, because they're coming at 3 o'clock in the morning and they're running off with cars. So, and the Orangetown Police put out a statement on it too. So, just a reminder. We have just announcement of Heritage and History Awards and celebration. It's on July 31st at 1 o'clock. It's being presented by Senator Elijah Reichlin Melnick at the Orangetown Museum in the Depew House. And we have the following honorees: our own Mary Cardenas, the Orangetown historian; Joyce Shara Cole, who's the Ossining Village historian; Ed England, the president of the Mount Moore Association; Alan Moskin, a Holocaust liberator and World War II vet; Chief Dwayne Perry, chief of the Ramapo Lenape tribe, if I'm saying that right; and Wynn Perry, the John Green Preservation Coalition, which is in Nyack. So if anybody is looking for something to do, that's at Saturday at 1 o'clock at our museum. Just want to remind everybody of our Do Not Knock registry. We do get calls occasionally about people showing up at the door. If you sign up at the town clerk's office, you get a sticker, it goes on your door, your window by your door, and it reminds people that they are not supposed to be knocking on your door to solicit. They're there allowed to do it for certain things, but not to solicit for sale. So just a reminder, we get calls regularly, and a lot of people are unaware of it. So we're going to try and get the word out to realtors and everybody so new people know about this registry they can sign up for. Next, we have a presentation. I theme that back. We have Chris Pagliaroli from Troop 2055 of Blauvelt has earned the rank of Eagle Scout. He revitalized the Depot Square Park in Spark Hill. The beneficiary of Chris's project is the John Perry American Legion Post 1044. And we have Commander Dave Mart here to say a few words of appreciation. So why don't you come on up?
Thank you for the Supervisor Kenny and the town board for giving us this opportunity. Hopefully most people are aware of the project that Chris did. Depot Square down in Spark Hill was suffering from wear and tear. It was, a number of the plantings had been becoming obsolete, a little worn out. The monuments themselves were certainly worn out. The guns were in need of painting. The masonry was pretty much falling apart at that point. So kudos to Chris. And Chris, why don't you come up and join me, please? So Chris, like any good Eagle Scout candidate, took a look around in his community, identified something in need that the community could benefit from, and then organized a team to do something about it. Chris did a remarkable transformation of the park. He redid all of the plantings and the flower beds, replacing them with new perennials. He repainted the guns, including the mortars up on the pedestal. There are monuments there that pay honor to the veterans that have served from our community in World War I, World War II, the Korean War, and the ongoing global war on terrorism. Chris really warmed the hearts of the Veterans Our Post by sprucing up this park tremendously. I've gotten to personally benefit from it. The monument I stand on to do my Memorial Day presentations, completely redone with new steps, new mortar joints, and just the park looks phenomenal. So anyway, I just want to present to Chris my congratulations on behalf of our members and present to him. We've got a certificate of appreciation on behalf of the members of our post that we're giving to Chris. He's also been recognized by the Rockland County American Legion. So thank you very much for this opportunity. And just in fairness, truth, and advertising, I'm the immediate past commander of our post. We voted in a new one in June. But thanks very much.
Thank you.
Chris, we have a certificate for you, too. I don't know if you want to come up here. We can maybe try and get a picture with the board. You guys want to, you know, either in front or you just want to,
Yeah, you can go.
we go stand. Your hard work, very much appreciated.
Jerry, get into it, not behind. He's taller than everybody now. This is his mom.
Do you want to get a picture?
No, thank you. No, 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 no. Okay. Good job. Good job.
Okay. So we're going to go into the workshop. We have, the first item is authorization to sign a qualified assignment. This has to do with a workers' comp, an employee on a workers' comp claim. I don't know if you have any questions. Rob Magrino can address them, but, no? Okay. Number 4, this is what was on last time about the grant. So I sent an email. We spoke to LaBerge, and there are no quote-unquote strings. They said there are principles of planning that they want you to consider, but you're not obligated to do anything. I spoke with Ben Seiden, and he said, look, you apply for it, you have a deadline, you may not even get it, but if you get it and you decide for whatever reason you don't want it, you don't have to take it, but if you don't apply for it, you're not going to get it. So, yeah, I did send everybody an email. I mean, it looked fairly innocuous to me, but number 5 is approving a service agreement. So this is actually, this was done back in 2020 during the pandemic, but to get reimbursed by FEMA, they want an agreement, a written agreement. So as we pointed out, this is nunc pro tunc, which is one of our new favorite words. But it's already been done and paid for already. This was back just to get the money from FEMA. Number 6 is the budget calendar. I think we do have to talk, though, about doing the department head meetings.
There's one thing.
Okay.
The board needs to decide. September 11th falls on a Saturday this year, which is when we typically would do our Saturday budget meeting. So our new options are either September 8th, a Wednesday at 5:30 p.m., or if the board wanted to do it on September 18th, that Saturday. So we have listed on here the 8th, but if the board wants to talk amongst themselves about what date they want to do, either one works.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Yeah, Wednesday night,
That's fine.
instead of Saturday morning, I'd rather do that.
That's fine.
Okay. Just, I don't know if it makes a difference.
Well,
It's Labor Day weekend or
Dinner
whatever, but.
dinner instead of.
And the other thing is the police will be doing their presentation to the board on the August 10th meeting. And we're going to change that to 6 p.m. so we can get them and Demi in at the same time to try and reduce the length of the of Wednesday night.
Right.
That's a good idea.
Right.
All right.
Absolutely. Okay. Number 7, we have a couple of retirements. Tommy Cabela's from the Highway Department is retiring. Actually, that looks like he's effective May. See if he can go on. Is that date right? May 21st?
I don't see him.
Is Jim here?
I don't see
For
him.
some reason, it's, okay, I don't know, it seems, I don't see anyone from Highway out there, right? No. I don't know.
No, I don't see him. Nope.
I mean, I hadn't heard he was gone, so I just think it's weird that he's been gone since
No,
May
he's-
31st.
you got
You
80
think that's a
and you got-
typo? Oh, okay.
All right.
Another nunc pro tunc. Okay. Number 8, accept the resignation retirement of Robert Handwerg. He's with Parks and Rec, effective July 17th. 9, we have appoint Christopher Patari to the position of Assistant Operator Grade 2 wastewater. This is the one we had created, I guess, or approved with Eamon. Appoint Steve, yeah, I'm presuming you will. Appoint Steve Fordham to the Maintenance Supervisor effective July 28th in Demi. We have the current base proportions and adjustments on 11, which I wouldn't even try to explain. If anybody has questions, ask the town attorney or Brian here? Okay. Anybody? Right. What's that? They all understand it. I'm the only one who doesn't understand it. Anybody want to speak to Brian or no? You're
No,
good?
no.
Okay, okay.
Is there a big change?
No.
No. No, there was an email about it too. And then we have the audit and and we do have an executive session to speak about current litigation, so.
All right.
Okay, with that, can I get a motion to open the public comment?
A motion open public comment?
Tom Denny, second.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so the first one we have signed up to speak is Susan McGuinty. Yep. Just a reminder, everyone has 3 minutes, so there's a clock there if you need to.
Thank you, Board. In August of 2019, Rockland Cider Works opened for business on the premises of the Van Houten farm stand, without a C of O, without a single building permit, and with no variance or change to the local property zoning. Music events and food trucks became a regular staple of weekends, and many of us attempted to speak with the Van Houtens, only to have our concerns brushed off. At the very least, both Elizabeth and Jim Van Houten were aware of the process for obtaining building permits and C of Os, as both had applied for permits previously. Additionally, Jim Van Houten, if not Darren and Elizabeth, would have been aware of the property's R40 zoning as it is listed clearly on the annual tax bill. The Van Houtens were notified by the building inspector that they were operating illegally, taken to court by the town, pled guilty to not having a C of O, been fined $5,000, and received several notices of violation since that time, reminding them that they are operating illegally and will receive further violations. While the music and food trucks have stopped and things have quieted down, RCW has never ceased to operate. This opens the town to liability for any incidents that occur. Darren Van Houten told me one night last week, we had an amicable conversation, I'm happy to report, that they were currently rectifying the situation and that it was fine for them to be operating. I can find nothing to support this assertion in any of the town's responses to my numerous, I'm sure you guys are over them, FOIL requests. Van Houten's recently opened a branch location in Gilboa, and they're going through the same thing there. I've spoken with the town building inspector, and they also are in violation of building permits, have no C of O, and no permission to be there. RCW is now posting requests to its Facebook followers to email the town officials, that's you guys, complain about the lack of food trucks and live music, and ask that they be returned to RCW. The posts remind followers that they should tell you guys it's an election year and that you're elected officials. A fast glance through the RCW Facebook page shows that many of their followers are not only not Orangetown residents, but not Rockland County residents and not New York State residents. You will not find any of RCW's closest neighbors following them on Facebook, and you will not find their street or state addresses on their emails to you. I ask that the town not allow food trucks and live music to return to RCW. RCW has been a bad neighbor since their opening and has demonstrated repeatedly that they have no intention of following local laws or safeguarding their patrons and neighbors from an out-of-control and dangerous situation that they have deliberately caused. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you. Jerry Goggin?
Thanks to the board for providing a clock. That's very helpful. Okay, so March 23rd, we had a town meeting here, and there were 27 people spoke in all. 9 of them spoke in favor of RCW, and 18 of them spoke against. And after I left that meeting, I decided to get on the interwebs. By the way, I think this internet thing is really going to catch on soon. And do a little analysis on these people, because they all gave their names at the meeting. It was on the video. It was all public information. So I did an analysis on where they lived. 7 of the 9 people who spoke here in support of RCW, Rockland Cider Works, have a commercial interest in RCW. Let me enumerate those. We've got 2 employees, the father of an employee, a former vendor, an active food truck vendor, they're not there at the moment, but they were last fall, and 2 musicians. Okay, fair enough. How far away did they live? 0.6, 0.6, unknown, somebody who lived in the city, I think, 2.3, 2.4, 1.2, and 0.7 miles, an average of 1.3 miles away. There were 2 other people who spoke in favor of RCW, 2 local residents, and they each live 0.5 of a mile away. It's 9 people in all, right? Now, let me turn my attention to 9 of the people who spoke against RCW. Here's the distances away that they lived. Next door, next door, next door. 0.1, 0.1, 0.1, 0.2, 0.2, 0.2. All of those are miles. You average those out, and you get less than 0.1 of a mile. You get about, well, you get less than 200 yards, average distance away. Now, think about the experience when you go to RCW. Let's say you've had a rough week, right? You want to go out and enjoy yourself. RCW has some music on. Awesome, we'll go over there. Drive over there, get out of my car, listen to some loud music, drink some, I'm sure it's great cider, have a good time, and at the end of the night, I want to go home, right? So what do? I get back in my car and I drive off. Contrast that with the experience of people who live in the neighborhood. If you're visiting RCW, you don't actually spend any time outside of RCW. You spend your time in there, and I don't deny that people would find that enjoyable. I'd probably find it enjoyable if I didn't live next door. But for the people who live in the neighborhood, it's a very different experience. They have to deal with the fallout that the people who come here and say, oh, that's not going on and I never saw it, have no reason to see because they're not there. They're not outside of RCW. Now, RCW are now putting out this petition that Susan McWhinney referred to, and they're talking about your elected officials and you'd better listen. And yet they're serial violators. They're violating the town ordinances up in Gilboa, New York. Thanks very much for hearing.
Thank you. And thank you for telling me about the Facebook post, because that explains the flurry of emails I got in favor of it this past week.
I plan to do an analysis of those emails as well.
Sharon Van Houten?
Good evening. I do have to admit I was nervous the first time I stood before this board a few months ago, addressing the many issues we have had against Rockland Cider Works. But now I have to say that I'm really angry and frankly disgusted that they're even able to still operate as we speak today. It's unreal and ridiculous even that we need to address this board when Rockland Cider Works should have been shut down from day one. Once this town and this board finally did their homework, after the hundreds of complaints and facts that were presented to you on all the illegal activity that went on over there, showing you pictures, photos, things in writing that were facts, what they had done or what they were doing, they should have been shut down immediately. It's unreal that they are still around or allowed to operate. I actually had 2 huge long papers to read, but I do have to sidetrack because I am blocked from their Facebook post. I really don't want to see it, but someone did send me a few pictures of them enticing people to come still to the farm on Thursdays, Fridays, and Saturdays because they're open, come enjoy a beautiful ice-cold glass of cider, and it's a joke. It's such a joke. It's a slap in the face to this town, and it's a slap in the face to this board, and it's a slap in the face to this neighbor, us neighbors. They have lied to the town. They continue to lie to the town. They lied to this board to your faces. They continue to lie to your faces. They lie to our neighbors, or their neighbors, which is us, and they continuously lie to their customers, which is unreal that they would do that. There's still no permits or permission to even operate. They haven't even tried to rectify, or they might be in the process of rectifying anything. And that's probably what you're waiting for. But just know this, that we are going to fight every step of the way to make sure that they are closed down. We will not stop. This is unfair to us. Where are our rights? And it's not a place to live when you have people throwing up and peeing on your property. When you have loud music right in your own backyard, that is not the type of music you listen to. It's unreal. I know that the town knowingly is allowing them to operate illegally, which puts the nearby residents and customers of RCW at risk and has potentially dangerous situations that could happen. So doesn't that open the town up to a huge liability should anyone get hurt? And I'll end there. And thank you for your time.
McKeely.
Good evening, Supervisor Kenny and the town board. So a few weeks ago, a good friend of mine, Philip Traynor, and a proud member of the Rockland Gaelic Athletic Association and a pillar in the community, passed away. And I just want to take a couple of moments to just make note of a few events that took place that I think it's important that people know. First of all, yourself, Supervisor Kenny, thank you for all the calls that you made on that Saturday morning. It was very difficult for everybody, and you jumped right in. I'd also like to thank Chief Buttersworth and his staff, really understanding of the situation, and an unfortunate situation, was able to get Philip from his home to the funeral home, which made it an unfortunate situation a little easier for his family. So thank Chief Buttersworth and all his staff. I'd also like to thank Captain Shannon, who coordinated with Wyman Fisher to really, after Mass, bring Philip back to the Rockland Gaelic Athletic Association facility, brought him past his house, and then obviously onto his resting place at St. Anthony's. So, and it all went seamless. So thank you very much for that. I'd go without remiss to thank Mike Lawler, who's obviously a good friend of all of us here. He made numerous calls to Mundane Jones's office, coordinated with Kieran Madden from the Irish Consulate to try and get Phil's siblings out from Ireland. Obviously, tough situation, trying to get into the country now with COVID. But we ended up getting Mary out. And, we brought her from helicopter up into Veterans Park, and I'd like to thank Eric Gordon and the Parks Department, and obviously the Fire Department and the Police Department for helping us get through and a safe landing for her, and she was able to, spend some time with Philip. So just on behalf of the Rockland Gaelic Athletic Association, community is everything to us, and just thank you very much for all your help with that.
Thanks, Mick.
Okay.
Tom Reynolds.
I live up behind Jimmy Van Houten, and Tuesday night there was music coming down from across the farm there, and I understand a neighbor called the police at 11:45 at night because it just kept going on and on. So they don't have any concern at all for us. And now they want to get music going again, the food trucks going again, because they just figure that they have some friends here and that they're probably, leaning on people to help them out. But we're the ones who pay the taxes. We're the ones who live in the neighborhood. We're the ones who are suffering. And, if it does pass, I'll tell you right now, I'm seriously considering moving because I don't want to live like this. And it's no way to live. How would you people like to have this next door to your house? And this is what it is. Jimmy Van Houten, we never had a problem with. Known Jimmy for many, many years. But when Darren and Elizabeth came in, now they have different ideas, and they have no concern for us, the neighbors. And that's where I'm opposed, so I'm just making it, noted. Thank you.
Thank you. Does anybody who did not sign up want to speak? Barbara, come on up.
Hi, Barbara Dello Blavelt. I see on item number 4, approve, apply for funding, 2021 consolidating funding application, Smart Growth Comprehensive Planning Grant from the New York State Department, the New York State DOS, Climate Smart Communities Grant from the New York State Department of Environmental Conservation, and to be used for the Town of Orangetown Comprehensive Plan Update. I am aware that the government often uses grants to implement federal and state community land use. And the comprehensive plan certainly has a lot to do with land use. That what they do would be to hold grant money if you don't implement what's promised in order to get the grant money. So my question is, and some of these things would really impact the independence of local municipalities to determine the zoning and the regulations and the things like that as they pleased. They would have to follow the state guidelines or the national guidelines if it's coming out of HUD or if it's coming out of the EPA. So I wanted to ask that, and I know it's a particular concern now because in the current political environment, most of the officials do support federal and state goals to be implemented locally in local communities and in using grant money and withholding grant money as a way to achieve those goals. So my question is, will there be strings attached to these grants? Will that influence what the comprehensive plan looks like? And will we afterwards have to comply with the promises we made in order to get the grants? Thank you so much.
Thank you. Is there anybody else that has not signed up that would like to speak? Nope. Move to close by Tom Divney. Jerry Batari, all in favor? Aye. Okay. Anybody want to say anything?
Barbara, last week, 2 weeks ago, we pulled that number 4 just to check out if there's any strings attached to these grants, and Teresa's office confirmed there are no strings attached. If something shows up, we can always refuse to take the money. So every time we apply for grants, that's one of the first things we do is make sure that we don't have to do anything that's federally or state mandated that is not for the best interest of Orangetown. So Teresa announced that right before you got in, so
That's okay.
no worries.
That's okay. Anybody want to talk about Van Houten? About the, do you want to call up Jane? Should we call up Jane and just get an update? Jane, can you,
Jane,
I don't know if we're prepared, but just to get an update.
I mean, I go by going to Pearl River, I
know.
haven't heard any music or seen anything up here.
Tuesday night,
I just, if get an update on where, I know they were in,
They
Cider
submitted a
Works was in
building,
court, and
yeah, they submitted a building permit application, which was denied to the planning board, and we're waiting for that planning board application to come in.
okay. But just,
And-
so they're not supposed to be having any music, though, so that if they,
They don't have the music, they don't have the trucks,
right.
and honestly, in the past month or two, I think we've received 2 complaints. So for them to say hundreds of complaints, they didn't come to our department if
Right.
there's hundreds of them.
What were the complaints about them still?
Just that they're operating.
It's that they're selling alcohol.
Just that they're operating. So
Why
again,
don't they just say
everybody
they're
knows.
operating? Because they always want to be very clear that they don't have a problem with selling trees and plants and flowers. The problem is that
Right.
they have the cider.
Right, so,
Which they may or may not be allowed to have.
Well, that's why it gets come. They have a license. They got a
They have a
license,
license,
and
right.
you know,
And
right. So it is now in the hands of our boards. Well, it should be in the hands of the boards. And once they make the planning board application, the planning board will hear it, and they'll have to come into conformance.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Jay, once they make that application, any enforcement through the courts is stayed.
Correct, and I believe I was not present at the, when they pled guilty and paid the fee, but that was part of them moving forward to obtain compliance, so we're doing that, you know, they're,
Okay.
unfortunately, everybody knows the land use board review process has, you know, timeframes, and it takes time, and they have to invest time and money into their site plan to submit proper information so that the planning board can make a thorough review.
But I think why I'm confused about this whole process, and maybe if it's going through the site plan, that's for more location of buildings and whatever, but is that going to get into, they can
It's
have
all-
music and what time they can have music? or
It'll
they
also
can't have
be
music, and-
intended
People
use.
were here last week, last meeting for Bailey's, and you can't have outdoor music,
Right,
is that
I
correct?
agree.
So
I
if
agree.
that's the case, then the people should call the police department, and the police department can shut the music off.
That's correct, and obviously the board passed that resolution to make sure that everybody understood
Right.
that the COVID relief did not permit them to all of a sudden
Right.
have music. That was
Right.
never part of that, and it's, our town code says you can't have live entertainment outside, so.
And I've had that conversation with a number of restaurant owners, saying,
Mm-hmm.
listen, we're allowing you to have outdoor dining. That does not mean you
It's
do
a
not have
free-for-all.
to come to the town if you
Right.
want to have a musical event. You still have to go through the same permitting process,
Like for special events and
a
things.
special
A
event or what
special
have you.
event is different than, yeah, weekly entertainment
I
outside
guess
in the
my,
backyard.
my concern, and the town attorney's looking at me like, shut up.
I'm ready.
Oh, you're ready, okay.
He's ready, he
Is
moved
it
his
doesn't
microphone.
address this whole issue of them having this license, this farm cidery license.
Right.
Like,
Well-
that's still not gonna, no matter what our planning board does, it's not gonna address that issue,
No,
right?
it's not.
No.
It's,
Right,
And-
that's a
I think
state
that's where
license.
that's where the part of the problem is.
Well, right, without getting into too many details on that, my understanding is it's their intention, Rockland Cider Works, to propose a change to the code so that it's permitted use there. They're not saying we have a license, so we're allowed to do it. They're not saying that.
But then why are they doing it? We should be
Well,
stopping them.
I'm just
I thought we
giving you
even
the
said all
facts.
along that it was because they had this license from the state, and the state has kind of not reneged it, even though people have filed complaints with them. So it's a kind of a new license, an unusual license. So the whole question became, who has jurisdiction? But if they're saying, we know we're not supposed to be doing it,
I don't know
I
what to
didn't,
say.
I didn't understand them ever to say that. We were in a few
Well,
meetings
they-
with them.
I'm not
They-
going to speak for
they-
anyone, because I don't.
They went to court, they admitted that they were doing it, so,
I thought they admitted they didn't have COs on.
Right.
Right.
certain things.
Correct,
Okay.
but they didn't have the proper COs.
right, but they are, my understanding is they're going to propose something for the town. I don't know, my understanding is their position is, they're not taking the position, we can do this because we have a
Well,
liquor
we need
license.
to
That's not
disagree
their,
with that, because if
that's
they-
not their position, is it?
Not that I understand, but they haven't come through that I'm aware
No,
of with
their
any
intention-
real proposed text.
We met with them,
amendment at this point.
we met with them, their intention was to propose a text amendment to the code to allow it.
Right.
Well, then
And I
that
said,
would-
they,
that would-
it's not for us to come up with a
that
proposed
would-
text amendment. I asked,
Yes.
if they want it, they can come up
But
with a proposed
that
text
would-
amendment.
indicate that they shouldn't be doing it now. That's my issue.
I
Well,
don't think we've ever got a ruling on whether the state trumps or,
right,
because
that's
they're
the
not-
gray area.
that's the gray area.
So they do sell, as a farm stand, they sell packaged stuff from, you know,
Locally
other, yeah. So it's an extremely gray area, and
And they have a license from the state to operate.
as a cidery.
Yeah, but again,
Which
I,
the
this is,
farm
it's-
license
I think
trumps
it's
us.
just, there's, I don't know, I think
It's
a court needs
complicated.
to weigh in, because what if I went and got some, and I started selling stuff out of my house, you know, it's like, oh, she got a license from the state, you know, I don't know. I think
I mean,
it's,
I think that's the question,
I
because
think we need a judge to rule on this one.
the governor's
Judge
office,
McGreeno,
the
what do you
governor's
think?
office created this around 5 years ago.
Yeah.
So there's
Yeah,
no
it's new.
case law on it, you know, there's not a
Right.
lot of case law on. It's a farm cidery license that was created specifically so that farms can remain in New York and giving them an access to another source of revenue. But there's no case law, there's no, you know, I think this is one of the things I raised from the, does New York State trump us because they got the license from them? you know?
And then, I mean, it
I
could
mean, if
take-
we want to create case law, we can go to
Right.
court.
It takes the next step is like, okay, so they're going to the planning board. It's going to be like, what are the hours of operation? Like,
Yes, that's what.
They have to,
under
as
what?
any,
Under what?
yeah, as any business owner
There's
would, they
something
would
very
have,
wrong with this.
as any business owner would, they would have to propose what it is they want. And then a determination would be made whether or not it complies with code. If it does not comply with code, then they would have to obtain a use variance from the ZBA, which is very,
Okay, so I'm just going to
very
say this, and I
difficult to
haven't
get.
been thinking about this at all, so I probably shouldn't, but I think we need to meet, and I think we need to figure out if the position they're taking is, we know we're not supposed to be doing this, and we're applying to make it legal, then they need to stop doing it until that happens.
That's my understanding of the position they're taking.
Okay.
And
You know.
again, Teresa, we only did in all this time now received, I believe it's 2. I can double check that tomorrow.
Listen,
Early on, the
look,
complaints were.
I don't live far from there. I don't have it. I've spoken to neighbors who live up there who have not come to meetings, who are not allowed, who have said it's a problem. Okay, the parking's a problem, the music's a problem,
Mm-hmm.
the drinking is a problem. Okay, and it's easy for people who don't live anywhere around there to say it's great, because I went there one day and when it first opened, and I thought it was great. But it's been going on too long, unregulated, that something needs to be done. That, you know, again,
Right, so-
we'll have to meet with the
But
town.
they have made a lot of changes. There's no more music, the hours they're closed
Well,
at 7
I mean,
o'clock
I don't know. They just said there was music again. You know.
on a Tuesday night,
Yeah, but-
at 11:30.
Does their license allow them to drink on premise?
Yeah.
It does, so
yeah,
they can sell and drink on premise, and they can also buy and carry out.
Right.
Yes.
Yes.
Well,
The license does not allow them.
but they're acknowledging that what they're doing is not proper. And they, I mean, just because I guess if what I'm asking is if the state is giving a license, does that automatically fit into our zone?
That's what I'm saying. I mean,
No,
you know,
it doesn't, no,
Question,
no.
we can't find it in.
No,
And
no.
I
I'm
don't
telling
agree.
you, the only people
I don't
who really
agree.
seem to be saying it are here. They are not taking that position. Their attorneys have not taken that position.
Then if that's the case,
That's
we
my,
need to go
from
in
what
and tell
I,
them
listen,
need
they
to
may
stop
come in here and
until-
say, no, we're taking that
Well,
position
then
now.
I mean,
They haven't so far, as far as I can tell.
Okay, we will-
That's why they want
we
to
will
come here,
regroup on
that's
this
why they
one.
want to come here for a text
Yeah,
change.
but
But the text change wasn't for them to be able to sell the alcohol. The text change was for them to open back up the music and to get food trucks. That's what. the
Yeah,
text
yes.
change was. It
well,
wasn't about
well, to-
having the cidery.
That's why I
As far as
think
they're
it goes
concerned,
back
they're allowed
to-
have the cidery.
I think it goes
And
back to, we're
until
still
we
going to
get a
have the,
ruling on
But-
it, you can't have it.
Okay.
Honestly, we
Listen,
don't-
listen, we're talking
we don't
about
know.
cidery versus not versus, can they sell it? Can they just sell it and you take it and go off site? Sure. I mean, you know, the issue is the zone, you know, it's not a clear cut situation where the zoning is trumped by the state, the license. They are not taking that position. I'm just telling you, that's not the position they are
we will,
taking.
we will
But
revisit
I
this.
guess,
Ryan.
I guess the question is, maybe they're not, like, I don't know what position they're taking, but maybe they're not taking it until, if they get denied, that might be the position that, you know, like, I
They
don't know
were
how we're-
denied.
Maybe we
I don't
need
know
to
how
take
we're
a
speaking
position.
for an applicant. Like,
Well, that's what I'm saying. I think,
Right,
you know,
I'm saying, they indicated that they are going to come in for a text change to allow them to do what they want to do there, which is to operate the cidery. That's what they have indicated to us.
But that doesn't necessarily,
that's not what I heard.
that's not necessarily meaning they don't take that position, it's just, what I'm
Okay,
saying is,
okay,
you could
let's-
take two contrary positions as an attorney, Rob. You're a pretty good attorney. so-
They haven't.
To be clear,
just takes the
they
right
were
position.
denied. The
What's
ball
that?
is, they were denied, so they now have to come in with the application. So, yes, Teresa, to answer your question, through the planning board review process,
But didn't they stop the stuff they were denied for, which was
See-
the music, the food trucks? Isn't that all supposed to have been
my understanding is they
stopped?
stopped that, yes.
So
That's,
the stuff that, my understanding, which, again, everything that they were denied for, they stopped. It is their opinion, they're
So I think we need
allowed
to
to
stop.
make and sell cider.
The reason
I
this,
agree with that, but I don't know if they can drink it on premise.
the reason this has come
Permit
up
allows-
again,
the
the
permit
reason,
from the state says they can.
See, this is why it's complicated.
the reason this has come up again is because they
Well, I'm fine,
made the
people
posts
can
on
differ.
Facebook.
Right.
And I, you know, now again, about the music, I don't know.
wonder what the complaints were. Were the complaints because of noise,
No, it's
music,
the
and parking?
alcohol. It's
Again?
the alcohol.
it's that
them
Rockland,
selling
well, it was
alcohol.
that Rockland Cider Works was
They want
operating,
it closed.
right.
So
They
it has
want-
nothing to do with the noise, the music, the parking, because I don't think that's been an issue since they're not doing any of their functions.
Well, it could be parking if people go in there to drink.
No, they've closed off. If you go over there on the weekend, they have the cones out in front. That whole street is closed.
Yeah.
And there's no overflow parking anymore because there's
Right.
no music.
No,
Doors.
I've gone by there a number of times to see if it's, and it's, you know, a couple of cars there. It's
Yeah, I
not,
guess without the music.
Yeah, I haven't seen anything either.
I mean, I've
How
got,
fun could it be to hang out?
I wasn't there Tuesday night, I gotta be honest, I was in Vermont, so I didn't hear the music from my house.
Okay,
Thank
okay,
God for
this will
that.
be continued. We're
yeah,
gonna have
to
to,
be
we're gonna have to.
continued. We gotta get more
And
information.
again, we haven't received anything as far as what, in writing, what they're proposing, so.
So we're still waiting on the text on that.
If that's the
application's in.
route they want to take, we have not
Well,
received
I mean-
anything.
Okay.
They've been denied, and now it's up to them to decide what they want to do.
Yes, and, you know, if they do not make application to the planning board, then the violations will be reissued, but as you said, Tom,
And if
they
do
made the
food
application,
truck-
so it sort of stays
I
any
think it's just
further.
ZBA.
All right.
And if they do the food trucks, and if they do the bands, you can immediately go down and shut them down because they're in clear
Well-
violation of what they denied.
Everyone needs to understand, we can't
Okay.
shut anybody down.
No,
We
you
can
can't.
issue the violations.
Well, you can stop the music, I know
Yes,
that
we
they've
could-
done.
I
that.
can't shut them down.
No,
That-
you can,
that's-
but the police will stop the music. They've done
Correct.
that at other restaurants.
Exactly, and then we would just issue violations to follow up.
Right, okay,
Thank you.
Thanks.
thank you, Dan.
Okay, removed, okay. So, with that, we'll go to item number 3 on the agenda. We have approved the supervisor to sign a uniform qualified assignment with New York Life Insurance and Annuity for a workers' compensation claim. Can I get a motion?
I'll make,
Second?
Second.
Tom Divany, all in favor?
Aye.
Approve us to apply for the funding for the 2021 consolidated funding application for smart growth, basically for the comp plan, would help offset the cost of what we're paying on our comp plan. Can I get a motion?
I'll move.
Jerry Batari move. Second.
Second.
Tom Divany, all in favor?
Aye.
Approve the service agreement with Enviro Master Service for COVID disinfection around Town Hall. Can I have a motion?
Moved.
Tom Divany, second.
Yes.
Jerry Batari, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so we're gonna, I guess we're good with the Wednesday, right? That's what I'm hearing?
Yep.
For now, we'll leave it that way, okay. So approve the Orangetown 2022 budget calendar. Motion?
Moved.
Tom Divany, second.
I'll second.
Paul Valentine, all in favor?
Aye.
Accept the retirement of Tom Icabellas from the Highway Department, effective May 31st, 2021. Motion?
Yes.
Second.
You got that? All in favor?
Aye.
Accept the retirement of Robert Handwer from the Parks and Recreation and Building, effective July 17, 2021. Motion?
Moved.
Jerry, again, Tom second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, number 9. Are you recusing yourself?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
I
Abstaining?
recuse myself.
Abstaining. Okay, he's abstaining.
Abstain.
Okay. Uh-oh, wait, there's only 3 of us. It doesn't go through.
Are you sure it's Chris Batari or is it Daniel McBride?
Appoint Christopher Tari to the position of Assistant Operator, Grade 2, wastewater, effective July 28, 2021. Can I get a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Paul, second.
Second.
Tom, all in favor?
Aye.
Is he here?
He's right there.
He is.
I don't know him. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Did you know to abstain? Present.
He recused himself.
Abstain,
I got that.
abstain.
We never met. Okay, number 10, appoint Steve Fordham to the position of Maintenance Supervisor, Sewage Systems, deeming effective July 28, 2021. Motion?
Yes.
Jerry Patari, second.
I'll second.
Paul Valentine, all in favor?
Aye.
Congratulations, gentlemen. Number 11, adopt the current base percentage and adjusted base proportions for the 2021 tax assessment roll.
Moved.
Tom Divany, second.
Yep.
Jerry Patari, all in favor?
Aye. Thanks, Jeff.
Okay, tonight's audit consists of 2 warrants for $1.3 million. The first warrant had 56 vouchers for $277,000. Items of interest, number 2, Delagi Landon, $15,000 for golf cart leases. That's June. Number 3, NIPA, $21,000 for the streetlight contract. Second warrant had 130 vouchers for $1.06 million. Items of interest, number 3, CSEA Employee Benefit Fund, $32,000 for dental benefits. Number 4, Delagi Landon again, $15,000 for golf cart leases in July. Number 10, Department of Civil Service, $734,000 for healthcare benefits. And number 12, Tilcon, $23,000 for highway materials. Any questions on the audit? Someone also left their phone up here, so I don't know who it is.
Who? Oh, okay. We'll hold on to it. And I wouldn't leave it. Well, if he doesn't come back, we'll take it. We're not going to leave it up here. Oh, yeah. Okay, so, motion on the audit, right?
Yep. Moved.
Okay, Tom, second. Jerry say second?
Yep.
Jerry, okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Quick question for you, totally unrelated to the audit. I was reading something about sales tax. When do we get the sales tax revenue for the first half of the year?
Well, it'll be probably September.
Oh, really? Okay. Do you even get the, do you don't even know? Because I just read an article today about how sales tax are so up around New York State, and that, I think they said the minimum that people increased was 18% or something. So,
We haven't counted it yet.
okay. It'll be a surprise. Okay, so we're going to go into executive session to discuss litigation, an ongoing litigation matter. We're not going to vote when we come out, and we are going to adjourn in memory, in adjournment of Philomena Fasano, 105. God bless her. Okay, so, can I get a motion to,
Yes, motion.
okay, that was Jerry, second. Paul, all in favor? Aye.